Hasan Piker, everybody's favorite communist Twitch streamer, terrorist sympathizer, strikes again, but in this instance, ended up getting banned from Twitch for it. Let's be real, it's a temp ban, because they're never gonna perma-ban one of their biggest pay-piggy cash cows, but whatever, a ban is a ban. And of course, you got Kotaku running defense for him. Welcome back to Words of Paradise, I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, as if you couldn't hate these journo scumbags any further, they spent an entire article refusing to condemn Hasan Piker calling for the death of an American sitting senator. Now look, I ain't exactly a fan of politicians on either side, and the vast majority of instances, you guys are pretty well aware of my political leanings at this point. However, I wouldn't be so bold as to call for the death of Ilhan Omar, just her deportation. But yes, that is what Hasan Piker did, and we've got the same corporation that was so profoundly intelligent as to, have Alyssa Mercante work for them for so many years to keep her gainfully employed until relatively recently when, she was accused of anti-Semitism, which was the reason she got the boot. But they won't say anything about Ethan Gack here running defense for somebody who openly glorifies terrorism and is called for the murder of babies, of Israeli babies that exist in Gaza. That's the type of absolute scumbag we're talking about here. Twitch bans Hasan Piker after hypothetical about Republicans killing Senator Rick Scott. They have to call it a hypothetical. In the headline itself, they're using coded language to try and make you feel like it's not that big a deal. It's a hypothetical. Like, that is technically correct. It was a hypothetical. But I mean, look, I could hypothetically want Ethan Gack to choke on a cock. I don't actually know if he's gay or not, and I definitely know, maybe that's how he'll go out. I don't know, but that doesn't mean I'm, if I was to say that, and if I was to say it seriously, the way Hasan did, that's a call to action, that's a call to violence. Throwing hypothetical in there is intentional obfuscation of the fact that your communist streaming hero darling here actively called for somebody to die. Somebody of prominence, by the way, and considering what we just saw happen to that healthcare CEO not too terribly long ago, another thing that Hasan praised, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if some deranged loony out here decided to go up and take some pot shots. Now, would that be Hasan's fault? No, not necessarily. I actually don't think that you can attribute, the crime of one person to the words of another, unless it's a direct call for violence, which this one actually was. This is the leftist talk show streamer's 5th ban. It's his 5th ban, and he is still on the platform because Amazon values money more than any sort of morality. Of course, though, you've got VTubers being insta-banned, perma-banned, and never to come back to the platform for showing tan lines. Yes, that is a thing. I'm not minimizing it. Twitch has temporarily banned Hasan Piker for a 5th time on Monday, shortly after the leftist streamer talked about how if Republicans really cared about Medicaid, they would kill Florida Senator Rick Scott. Big shout out to the right-wing free speech lovers who took time out of their day screaming about DEI and immigrants to cry about this. He posted on X after his stream was taken down. You're right. I am a free speech lover. I mean, I'm not a right-wing lover. I completely value and agree with your right to say this, Hasan. That's not what free speech is, dipshit. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. No one's saying you should not legally be allowed to say this. The government should never be able to prosecute you for saying this. That being said, it does go against terms of service, and this is your 5th ban, and you have a very large audience that, for whatever, to be fair, of like 15-year-olds, but large audience on the left that you're very influential towards. Maybe, just maybe, you should choose your words a bit more carefully. But no, yeah, let's cry about this. Yeah, of course, because you're calling for violence. By the way, actual calls for violence, like legitimate calls for violence, are not protected by free speech. There is limits on free speech, which you can agree with that or disagree with that, but right now that is the way the law works, so it is worth noting. One of the Amazon-owned platform's top streamers, Piker is known for his unfiltered left-wing critiques. They are not left-wing critiques. They are full-on communist ideological espousals. Need I remind you, the dude said America deserved 9/11. Now, if I was to go talk to a normal fucking left-winger, a normal one, I'm pretty sure that is not what they would espouse. They wouldn't critique America as deserving of 9/11. During a stream on Monday, he was reacting to recent comments by House Speaker Mike Johnson about Republicans' budget priorities when the comment that seemingly got him banned for the 5th time in the platform's history were made. And again, I want to remind you, thus far in this article, Kotaku has not condemned the statement, not in the slightest. Louisiana congressman told CNN that Republicans are looking to carve out waste, fraud, and abuse in welfare entitlements, including $50 billion lost in Medicaid just in fraud alone. Hasan interrupted the clip to argue that Medicaid fraud is predominantly perpetuated by providers rather than individual people, before pointing out the current, which, by the way, that might actually be true. Hey, I ain't no big fan. I ain't no fan of giant, large businesses that are subsidized by the government because we have no such thing as a free market now due to things like Obamacare. So you know what? I am sure you probably see these large corporations committing just as much, if not more, fraud. You know what? I'm willing to call out both, not just the one that fits my ideological side of the pole. You know what I'm saying, Hasan? Hasan interrupted the clip to argue that Medicare fraud is predominantly perpetuated by providers rather than individual people, before pointing out the current Florida Senator Rick Scott ran a healthcare company that was fined $1.7 billion back in 2003 for defrauding the federal government. Again, I don't know about the case. I don't doubt it. I 100% believe that this individual would want to make more money, and to do so he would try and defraud the government. I mean, let's be real. These power-hungry motherfuckers in Congress, doesn't matter if they got a D or an R next to their name, 95% of them don't give a fuck about you. They're narcissists, and they're just looking to obtain and maintain power and, riches and wealth and fame along with it. So, yeah, I don't doubt this is true. That doesn't make what Hasan said right, or really even a valid argument. Scott has dismissed the case as political persecution, and since I'm not familiar with the case, we've seen our fair share of political persecution. We saw a lot of it happen to Donald Trump on the lead up to the election, so you know what? It very well may have been that as well. I just don't know enough about the case to answer one way or the other. If you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott, Piker said on today's stream. That is not a joke. He wasn't joking. He didn't say it in a tongue-in-cheek manner. He didn't smile. He deadpanned the line. He is being 100% honest. And there's the difference. If someone gets canceled over a joke, if they get banned over a joke, I'm going to goddamn fight for them because, it's a fucking joke. But that's not what this was. Hasan was actively calling for the murder of a politician. Can you imagine if Hypnotic, who was on SNH, and he called for the murder of Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez? Do you know how motherfucking fast his channel would be yeeted from YouTube? Yeah, exactly. But again, Hasan just getting a temp ban, even though it's his 5th ban, because homie is just makes so much money for Amazon and for Twitch. And again, I mean, first of all, we need to get some better parents out there. What the fuck are you parents doing letting your kids watch this absolute numbnuts? But that's neither here nor there. While Twitch has not confirmed the reason for Piker's latest ban, the platform has guidelines banning users from making comments supporting hateful conduct or harm towards others. The company's latest revision to this policy came in November 2024 as Twitch tried to moderate conversations about Israel and Palestine. Israel and Palestine. The conversations where Hasan Piker earned the moniker of Hamas Piker because he is a Hamas terrorist sympathizer, calling babies colonizers. Well, there are babies in colonies in Israel, so they would be colonized. Dude didn't, when 2 children were murdered by Hamas terrorists and their bodies were sent back to Israel with obvious signs of strangulation, he called it funny. He cheered. He made jokes about it. Absolute disgusting trash human being that Hasan is. Laughed about the murder of innocent children. Murder by strangulation, mind you. One of the most just evil ways you can do something to a person. And this absolute troglodyte troll fuck only gets a temp ban. It wasn't even that got him yeeted from the platform, by the way. That means Twitch is okay with laughing at the murder of children before they're okay with calling for the death of a senator. What the fuck is going on over at Twitch and Amazon? Like, please riddle me this. Like many of the platform's past attempts to clear and firm moderation, however, Twitch's interpretation of its rules can seem vague and not always equally enforced. I'm sorry, Piker wrote on X following the ban. I'll choose my words carefully next time and say, if Mike Johnson cares about Medicare fraud, since he wants to cut $800 million from Medicaid and Medicare, he'd call for max punishment for current Florida GOP Senator, former Governor Rick Scott, who's done the most Medicare fraud in U.S. history. And that's where the article ends. That's what there wasn't a single goddamn condemnation of him effectively breaking the law. Calls for violence are not protected speech. So not only was he only temp banned from Twitch, but he actively broke the law. And Kotaku's like, oh, nothing to see here. It was a hypothetical. He's a left-wing critique. Sometimes the rules of moderation aren't equally enforced. Ain't no goddamn shit they ain't equally enforced. Homie's on his 5th ban, will absolutely be coming back, as you said in your article, because it's a 10th ban. But you got fucking VTubers out there getting perma-banned for jokes or for showing just a little too much skin on a fake fucking model with no genitalia showing or anything, by the way. This is the left-wing propaganda outlet playing favorites for their favorite little dummy. They're giving him anything and everything he wants. They're giving him the platform. They're making sure that he stays, not just because of the money, but because of what he does for the movement. Because if he can get enough absolute morons to say, eat the rich, and then buy a $50 Eat the Rich t-shirt, which will, ironically enough, only enrich the rich. Oh, but what about the 10% of the t-shirts to go charity? Shut the fuck up. You know good goddamn well that those charities are just shell corporations putting even more money in these companies' pockets and these CEOs' pockets that are fucking fraudulent. They probably only exist on paper for tax purposes, but oh, you want to tax the rich 50%? Yeah, these rich motherfuckers gonna let themselves be getting taxed 50% when they're making these Eat the Rich t-shirts? Get the fuck out of here, son. You want to sit there in your multi-million-dollar mansion with a fucking Porsche and talk about eating the rich? Go fuck yourself. I ain't gonna tell you to kill yourself. I ain't gonna tell you to liquidate your existence. What I will say is go fuck yourself. You got plenty of time to do it while you ain't able to stream. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news nearly every day. Not always about Hasan Piker or politics or other content creators, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 150 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity. With only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.